But I want to use today's episode to try to speak to something that I believe is very, very important when it comes to a current source of power in the world today. In fact, I think it's going to be a massive source of power moving forward into the future as well. And to do this, I think the best way to illustrate my point is to ask you to imagine a world in which you found a magical device. And this device allowed you, with just the press of a button, to gain complete access to any iPhone or Android on the planet at any time you want. All you would have to do is just think of a person whose privacy you would like to circumvent. And this device would allow you to access that person's passwords, their phone calls, their emails, their messages, their photos, videos, contacts, location. That's a big one. Browsing history, and data from all of their apps like Facebook and Skype, any app that they have on their phone. You could access that data as well. But that's not all this device would do. Imagine that this device would also give you the ability to access and activate that phone's microphone and the camera at any time you want without the user being aware that it's on. So essentially, it would basically become a surveillance device where you could listen to and see whatever that particular person is doing at that time, any conversation they're engaged in, maybe where they are. Um, and the best part about it is that all of this spying done through that device would be secret. The person would have no idea that you were looking into all of these different aspects of their life through their phone. They would be completely unaware that this was going on. And it would even go as far as to, for example, when the camera on that phone was turned on, it wouldn't give you the indication. Like I have an iPhone, right? And it has that little it'll show you like a little green light, or like on my computer here, it'll show me like a little green light, right? There's the same thing on the phone. That wouldn't be turned on, but yet you would be able to access the camera. So it would be completely anonymous. It'd be completely secret that you were able to spy on them in this way. And wouldn't wouldn't that access to information and privacy, a look behind the curtain, so to speak, wouldn't that be an incredible source of power in the world today? I mean, especially considering how reliant we are on our cell phones. And remember, there's no boundaries to the range of people that you could potentially target with this magical device. As long as the person has an iPhone or an Android, no amount of money or technological protections would prevent you from accessing that device completely unbeknownst to them. I mean, how quickly would your human nature corrupt any good intentions that you might have for using that technology if it was made available to you? After all, I do think most people agree with that idea that power corrupts and absolute power corrupts absolutely, right? And I think like our societal dependence on technology, in particular our cell phones, like I'm talking about, um, has become so incredibly alarming over the last couple of decades, just how dependent we actually are on not only our phones, but the information that's stored on those phones, right? Let's think about a company, for example. Think about not only the data that would be stored on one employee of that company's phone, but now imagine you had access with this device. You could just point it at this person and that person and the guy that works in legal and the guy that's in charge of product development and maybe this engineer that's working on a specific part of some element of this company, right? Now imagine collectively all that information put together, how powerful that is, especially given how much important information is probably stored on those people's cell phones. And I I give you this thought experiment of the magical device, right, that lets you see all these things, because I think it points to a massive source of power that currently exists in the world today, and that is the ability to circumvent privacy for either blackmail or information purposes. If such a device existed today, I think the ramifications of that power, the power that the person that controlled this device, the power that they would have, I think those ramifications are terrifying, to be honest with you. Just like I said, in how dependent we are on technology to the point where now all of this vital information is stored on these devices. I just think that type of power is terrifying, especially. I mean, imagine if that device fell into the wrong hands. Unfortunately, in today's episode, I have bad news for you. That magical device does in fact exist. Um, it's called Pegasus, and it's named after the mythical creature, the flying horse, and it's the subject of our episode today.